My name is Tyler White. I am a sophomore currently attending Cy Woods, and I am gay. For a very long time, I have experienced bullying and discrimination. It made me extremely insecure, and I even developed generalized anxiety disorder because of the constant ridicule from family and friends. For this project, I decided to research how discrimination affects the LGBTQ community and how we can stop it.
I'm afraid because my dad, not his fault or anything like that, but he's a very closed-minded person. I'm sure he'd make an exception for me, but it makes me really anxious and scared whenever somebody mentions that topic because one day they're gonna find out, and I really don't want them to change their opinion of me, but it happens.
I have trust issues with like so many people now because like people that I thought were on my side when I came out to them, they weren't okay with it and they left. And these are people that I'd known since I was like a little girl.
Discrimination is something I've experienced since elementary school. I mean, I've had rocks thrown at me, I've heard countless slurs. Fag used to be a common nickname for me. Being discriminated against became my new normal. And because of that, I didn't accept myself, and I was just so, I don't know, distraught. It brought me to a really bad place in my life where I was just super depressed and I wouldn't do anything because I was terrified that someone was going to judge me. There are nearly 9 million LGBTQ plus Americans, and approximately 42% of LGBTQ plus youth report living in a community where they are not accepted by family and friends. This lack of familial acceptance can be detrimental to their physical and mental health, and sometimes results in the child being kicked out of the house and forced to live on the street. Of the 1.6 million young people that experience homelessness every year, 40% of them identify as LGBTQ+. A shocking 46% of homeless LGBTQ+ youth ran away because of familial rejection of their sexual or gender identity. 43% were forced out of their homes by their family members, and 32% faced physical, emotional, and sexual abuse in their homes. It is an injustice that families leave their children on the street to fend for themselves, all because of who they are. In the LGBTQ community, rates of sexual and physical assault have skyrocketed. LGBTQ people face higher rates of poverty, stigma, and marginalization, which put them at a greater risk for sexual assault. They also face higher rates of hate crimes, which can often take the form of sexual assault. According to the Human Rights Campaign, 44% of lesbians, 61% of bisexual women, 26% of gay men, 37% of bisexual men, and 47% of transgender individuals have experienced sexual assault or rape. For LGBTQ survivors of sexual assault, their identities and the discrimination and stigma they face surrounding those identities often make them hesitant to seek help from police, hospitals, shelters, or rape crisis centers, the very resources that are supposed to help them. As a child, I was always asked questions like, is your homosexuality a phase, or what caused it? And I always found that line of questioning degrading and honestly just awkward. And another question I always asked was, why don't we ask straight people the same things? And this interview is me doing just that. I wanted to recognize the double standard in this line of questioning and how it's unfair treatment to LGBTQ individuals. Parents yet?
I'm not gay.
Right.
Like, okay.
No, I mean just like come out. Like, I know you're
I've
straight,
never-
but have you?
No, obviously not.
Okay.
No, I don't have to.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like people that are heterosexual, it's like they're like born with it. I don't think it's like something caused it.
Right.
No.
I mean, do you think there is a cause? Or like, were you just like
No.
born with it, like that
I
kind of thing?
guess.
Right?
I think I was just born with it. I don't know. Well, since I'm not, I mean, I guess most people figure it out when they're younger.
Right.
What do you like? What? How do you decide?
Right.
I think it's a choice.
I feel like some people, yeah, it's a phase.
No?
Mm-mm.
This is
No.
I guess therapy would be good if I was.
no.
No?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Yeah, they were really weird.
Okay. If you put yourself in the shoes of a person of the LGBTQ community, how would you feel if people asked you those questions, but like switched heterosexual with homosexuality, or like, you know, your gender identity, that kind of thing?
I'll probably feel pretty offended,
Right.
a little like standoffish, especially because those are difficult questions.
Right.
It was really awkward.
mean-
And it's like they're not really, like, they're just weird. Like, what kind of question? Like, how do you answer them? They're not really like, it's like, what do you mean? Like,
Exactly.
Why, like, why? Like,
Could you, listening to those questions, put yourself in the shoes of a person of the LGBTQ community being asked those questions?
yeah, I like how people deal with that. That's bogus. That sounds really weird. But it's like, like the fact that people get asked those are such dumb questions. Like, it's why, like, double standard of like, oh, these people get to be asked these questions, but like these, no, it's dumb for them because like that's just not okay. Like, let
Right.
people like, just let people live their lives, man.
Man.
Well, obviously weird, but I know that people like on the opposite side get those asked those all the time, and I don't know. It's a little unfair, I guess.
So like you could put yourself in their shoes and see how awkward it was, right? Like,
I guess I don't really know.
I mean, it's just like a weird line of questioning that I think.
Yeah, invasive.
Yeah, it's invasive. Exactly.
I feel like it's just educating people and not just like telling them how they should view things, but letting them actually meet people of the LGBT community, and maybe put them somewhat in their shoes so they can better understand what they're going through. Because I feel like it's hard for people that have never been discriminated against to understand discrimination.
Right.
Just, I guess it sounds dumb, but get educated. It sounds like dumb. It sounds self-explanatory, but like people don't do it. Like people just like assume, like you hear something and then you assume that it's right. Like if you actually like get to know like what you're actually talking about, then you wouldn't really be like, you know, as it sounds dumb, but like, you know, if you knew about it, then like I don't even know. Just be more like, people also need to be more open. Like stop being so closed off. Like let people, and stop being so concerned about other people's lives and how they live them, because it's not yours. Like if you're really that concerned if like a guy's dating a guy or something like that, then like you need to get a life. I'm sorry, but like that's not your life. Let them live their life. If they're happy, then they're happy. Like it's fine. And so like people need to get lives.
Just work hard to inform them. If they ask stupid questions, don't just get mad at them. Maybe like work hard to change their mind, because if you just get upset, they're gonna be like, whoa, or like they won't listen to you,
Right.
you know? So that's what I try to do when people say ignorant things.
Right.
Just like support each other. Like, I feel like it shouldn't matter whether you're part of the community or not. You should still support them. They're people as well, just like you and me. And to get rid of the stigma that it's not okay, because it is.
Be an ally. Stand up for them, because if you just idly stand by, then obviously nothing's gonna get better for them, and that's a little unfair.
Be more accepting. I feel like, and also like we shouldn't have to have like this community, this like everyone just come together. Like we shouldn't be like so like segregated. Like, oh, I'm only gonna hang out with like straight people. Oh, I'm only gonna hang out. Like it's just like we need to be like all come together and all support each other in every like way that we can. Whether it's like supporting like for your like just just all come together. Be happy, love family.
One way we can fight discrimination is visibility. In the past few years, queer representation in media has grown exponentially from a measly 1.1% to 8.8%. With TV shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, Orange is the New Black, and Queer Eye becoming more mainstream, more LGBTQ plus people are actually seen by society instead of being erased by Hollywood. Visibility also helps questioning youth by giving them a character that has the same feelings of isolations that they experience and helping them recognize that they have a place in the world, just like everybody else. Some of the major accomplishments in the advancement of queer representation in media have been accomplished this year, including Disney Channel's first openly gay character, and Lena Waithe becoming the first black LGBTQ+ woman to win an Emmy for comedy writing. However, LGBTQ people of color are still severely underrepresented. Erasure and underrepresentation does nothing but hurt society. The lack of LGBTQ+ individuals represented in media creates a constant missed opportunity to educate people and help LGBTQ+ youth who do not understand what they are feeling. By including LGBTQ+ individuals, we can fight this plague of ignorance and help questioning children understand who they are before it's too late. Another way to fight discrimination is activism. In our volatile political climate, it can be hard for minority groups to have hope for a brighter future. But if we use our voices and fight for what we know is right, we can end the discriminatory policies and hateful political practices that plague our great nation. We must make these changes before another Alton Sterling is shot by a cop for being black in America, before 53 more people are slaughtered because of their sexual or gender identities, before 17 more lives are lost in a school shooting, before more children are stolen from their families and detained at the border, before an innocent woman is run over by white supremacists for protesting racism, before any more candlelight vigils are held in mourning of victims of hate crimes. We must fight hate with love and inform ignorant people instead of trying to force them to change their minds. To end discrimination, we must push visibility and make ourselves heard so that LGBTQ people and other minority groups can still live their lives freely to be who they are, because we have the power to change the world for the better.